Hi, I'm Peter Rose, founder of Longwood Currency Trading. Can you beat the Forex market? No, you can't. You can't beat the Forex market. It's the largest market in the world at $6.7 trillion a day in volume. It dwarfs the combined volume of all the stock markets. You're not going to beat that market any more so than you're going to sink an ocean liner with a BB gun. It's just not going to happen. And I think that's where a lot of folks have problems. They think they're going to beat the market, like the famous book, Beat the Dealer, or it's just all luck and they're going to get lucky or whatever it is. You have to understand what the Forex market is. It's a method for countries to have economic exchange between them. It's the most legitimate market, the most powerful market in the world. You're not going to beat that. So how do you make money from it? Well, you can make money from it by not trying to beat it. When you try to beat it, you try to apply a force against a force. You know, the Chinese proverb of you have a big oak tree and a willow next to it on a hill overlooking the ocean. And a big storm comes by. And no matter how powerful the oak is, the storm will break that oak. But that same powerful storm will only take the willow and bend it over, and the willow will come back. A willow doesn't fight the power of nature. I'm sorry being philosophical on you. But that's just the facts of things. If you quit trying to beat something, then you'll be able to win what you're entitled to win. And what you're entitled to win is based on your skill and your knowledge and your fearlessness on the battlefield of the largest market in the world. Once you understand what the market is, and you really understand that, I don't know, read a book or listen to somebody talk about it, but you really need to understand what that market is all about as a primary introduction, I guess, in order to looking at that market and saying, well, what rules could I develop in order to profit from these squiggly line movements? It's really very simple then in order to create a winning process, as long as you understand how to identify a problem, how to break that problem up into individual discrete pieces, order those individual problems in a sequential order so you're not into a matrix phenomenon, create one rule for each problem. And if you can't, if you think you need to create more than one rule, well, then you got to break that problem up into multiple problems until you have a problem that's you can solve with one rule. And the rule has some conditions. If this is true and this is true and this is true, then execute the rule. That's really just simple. You know, I'm going to drive my car. What are the rules? I got to open the door, I got to get in, I got to turn the car on, put the car into gear, and step on the gas pedal. You can't do those things out of sequential order, but that's the rule. You want to drive the car, that's what you got to do. Now, you can argue about that. You can say it isn't right, it's too complicated. It doesn't make any difference. You want to drive the car, that's what you have to do. And if you want to win in Forex trading, then it doesn't matter what you think or what you think you're entitled to, or how you think things should work. You have to look at what is there and then develop your rules accordingly to that. Now, are you able to do that yourself? You say, well, look at all the people on the video land that are broadcasting that they've made millions of dollars trading currencies, and they just started out with nothing and they were able to get successful. Great. Ask each one of them how many tens of thousands of dollars or potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars it took them to learn how to do what they do. And how many years did it take them to do that? Is that the process that you want to follow? You have to have a lot of perseverance in order to do that. You have to have a lot of money, obviously, in order to withstand that. And you have to be able, finally, when you get close to the end, you have to be able to look forward and project correctly as to what the next step should be. Otherwise, if you make a mistake and you let that get to you, you're going to have to go back to square one, and then you've got to go through all those permutations again. You know, if you had 5 different things that you could try in order to solve a problem. You really have 325 different permutations you can arrange those 5 things in. By that I mean, if I had just 2 objects, A and B, I have 4 different ways that I could arrange those objects. I could arrange A, I could arrange it B, I could arrange it AB, or BA. 4 different permutations for just 2 things. 325 permutations for 5. And so if you think you're just going to learn everything there is to learn and then move on and make money, hit bid ask and make money, that isn't going to work, because you're doing exactly the wrong thing. You're doing what's being taught out there. You read a book and you learn all that shit. You watch a video, you learn all that shit. The problem is that the more you learn, the less successful you will be at trading. Why is that? It's because there's too many different permutations you can arrange that information in order to get to a solution point. Are all those things, your first question you have to ask yourself, is all that information needed? That's the question that I asked myself when I was starting currency trading after I lost $40,000 and said, this isn't right. I did all the study, I watched the videos, I took courses, I was involved in the currency market from 2007 until 2017, 10 years, before I felt, okay, I'll put $45,000 in here because I think I know what I'm doing. I've traded in demo for 4 years. I was making 15% a month for months on end in demo. It took me about 4 months to lose $40,000. Wait a minute, how did that happen? And then that's when I stepped back from it. I don't know why I did this before. Maybe I was just too eager, listening to the hype, following what the courses were telling me to do and all that other kind of crap. But I stepped back from all that. And I'm fortunate that I had been a software engineer for 33 years. And that provided me with tools that a lot of folks don't have on the process of problem solution. What is he asking me to do? What does he really mean? And then how do I provide the solution that will satisfy him, that's flexible enough that when he changes his mind, I don't have to change too many pieces. I can just, because I've thought ahead of him. I used that background. I wrote down my 3 rules. It took me about 15 minutes because I was trained to do this. I was able to do that. Oh, I was solving the wrong problem. That's the first conclusion I came to when I looked at things. That's well, if I'm solving the wrong problem, then obviously any rules or process that I developed are invalid. What do I need to do? Well, now that I have the correct problem to solve, I know how to break that problem down because it was a complex problem. I know how to break that problem down into smaller problems. I know how to organize them into sequential order, and I know the importance of doing that. And then I need to have 1 rule for each problem. 15 minutes, boom, done. I took my remaining $5,000 and I just about doubled that in 4.5 months. I was within $200 of doubling, and I thought, okay, I got this. And I put another $10,000 into the account. I traded that for a while. I added another $50,000 to the account and traded that for a while. It didn't go broke, was successful in starting to build the account and went on from there. But that's not the point, because I've gone on to lose a lot of money and I've gone on to make a lot of money too in the currency market. I mean, I was involved in real estate for 40 years. I understand there's ups and downs. But you have to understand the correct process in order to come out at the end to be successful, despite the ups and downs, right? I mean, behind me is my house that, because of my real estate investment, I was able to pay cash for that house and put another $40,000 into renovation work for it before I even sold my other house, my old house. So when you learn something, you become successful at the solution. But the process of learning currencies seems to be, you got to learn all this stuff. You got to learn all this fundamental analysis. You got to learn all this technical analysis. You got to learn this. You got to learn that. And you got to do the London Open, and you got to do this. And here's a 42 candle patterns that you have to do. You got a dojis and a flashing star and a fucking, I don't know what all that bullshit is. I studied all that. I learned all that stuff. And I threw it all out and took my 3 rules and solved the problem of making money in the currency market, not beating the Forex market. We're not the dog in this. The institutional traders are the dog in this, right? And so you have to, what's the dog doing? Because the dog is going to wag you. If you're ready for the wag, you can go with it and you can make a few pennies. Now, that few pennies in comparison to $6.7 trillion could be $100,000 a year, $400,000 a year. It just depends on how big of a bank you have. You're not going to make $10,000 or $20,000 a year on a $1,000 account at 500 to 1. You may get lucky and do that a couple of times, but then if you continue to trade that way, eventually you'll get a risk of ruin event and you're gone. And then you'll do that again, but because you didn't have any rules or methodology to organize that stuff, you won't be able to retrace your steps and then pick it up from there because the other stuff worked for you and it was just luck. You can't base a trading plan on luck. So you're going to blow out again, and you're going to blow out again, and you're going to continue to blow out again until you look correctly at the market. And if you can't look correctly at the market, you'll continue to blow out until you refuse to put any more money into it. It's just really simple. It's simple to fail, and it's simple to succeed. Now, you have to be able to decide what you want to do. If you're just trading currencies for shits and grins, I can't help you. I'm not interested in that. I only work with serious people that are interested in replacing their job income. That's it. That's the criteria. And you have to have a little bit of experience in trading before I'm going to be able to help you, because a beginner is going to argue with you and he's going to try to make it up on how many people have I dealt with trying to walk them through, and they're saying, well, you know, in the stock market, this is what we do, and I don't give a shit what you do in the stock market. Shut up. You asked me to help you. I'm trying to help you. Don't talk over me. Listen to what I have to say. And then if you disagree with that, ask me a question, because I've got the answer to that question. Do you have the answer to the question that I would ask you? That's sort of obnoxious. But look, I've taught martial arts for well over 50 years. And if I tell somebody something and they're going to walk out on the street tomorrow, I want them to be able to use that. I've had students use the information that I've taught them to defend themselves and their loved ones in the street. And more importantly than that, to use the martial arts to better their character and have confidence in themselves, in that they understand that there's failure and that there's success. And they balance that so that they have more success than they have failure. And as a result, they compound that small balance of success forward until the success is large. The advantage in the currency market is you can get large success right away and continue to compound that successfully without losing at all, unless you get greedy. As soon as you get greedy at the wrong time, you will lose it all. No matter how good you think you are, once you let your greed get a hold of you, it's devastating. But if you're going to work on solving the problem of currency trading, you have to have a plan. And that's what my Fast Track course tries to teach you, how to build that plan. I'm not pitching my course here. I'm just telling you how it should be done. That's the purpose of my channel, to tell you how it should be done so that you can make the choice as to whether you want to take some education or you want to try to do it on your own. If you decide that you want to take some education, I hope you'll send me an email and say, hey, what's this program that you've got? How's that better than me trying to do it on my own? And we'll just talk about it. I mean, I'm not trying to sell anybody a program, because it's only me that teaches the program, and I teach it. It's not an online thing where you dial in at your leisure and you join a Discord group for 8 months or a year. And it's 6 weeks, and I'm on it all the time. This is a class. You're learning this stuff. Get it done and learn it right away. What are you going to do? You're going to take driving lessons for 2 years in order to learn how to drive a car? You're going to take driving lessons for 2 weeks and learn how to drive the car. You never have to learn driving lessons again, because it's driving the car is simple. Now, you have to go ahead and learn more rules of the road and how to change the battery or the oil or something, and that's all fine, but you don't have to learn that stuff in order to drive the car. The 6-week fast track program teaches you how to trade, gives you the information, the specific, what I call relevant information, to become consistent in your trading at small levels on a $1,000 account, how to develop trading metrics so that you can use those metrics to build the real rules that you're going to need when you up the game to a $10,000 account or a $100,000 account or whatever level of funding that you're going to have. We start out just trying to make 20% on our money. If you can't make 20% on a $1,000 account in FOREX, you shouldn't even be doing FOREX. But there's a goal there. It's a simple goal. It's like when I was in karate and they were teaching how to break boards. You didn't start breaking boards, you broke pencils. Oh, but that's so simple. That's exactly the point. It was very simple. Now, when it was to my turn to learn how to do it, my instructor, I don't know, he had a brain hemorrhage or something, and he said, here, break this board. So I punched through the board. Here's 2 boards. Try to do that. So I hit those boards and bounced off once or twice, and boom, then I went through the 2 boards. Then he put 3 up. Try that. I said, I don't think I'm ready for that. And I wasn't. I was a low-level karate person. And so I hit that 3 boards, and I bruised my hand up really bad. It hurt. I almost broke my hand. And ever since then, I haven't been able to break boards. I don't have any problems hitting somebody. Knock your ass off. I'll turn your face around by hitting, because I can hit really hard. But I can't break boards. And it's really stupid to break boards too. But I can't because I've got this negative thing. So when you are looking at learning something, learn it the right way so you don't have negative experience. That's what the $1,000 account is for. That's what the 20% gain against the risk is. Once you prove you're consistent in your trading, you've got good metrics, you've built good rules, and you're trading at a 2% a month rate level, 20%. It's actually 24%, but it's 20%. Then we flip the coin over right toward the end of the class. We show you how to apply those metrics into the direct rules to create to see if you've been able to manage that. And then you upgrade to a $10,000 account and you trade that. And no, we're not trading at 500 to 1 because that's risk or ruin. You trade at 10 to 1. I got $10,000, I trade 1 full lot. Oh, Peter, I don't have $10,000. You're full of shit. I'm not going to trade with you. Great. Don't waste my time. I'm only talking to people who want to replace their income, not lose their income, not lose 70 or 80% of their money. You may lose 70 or 80% of that $1,000 account. But you're going to learn something from that. You're going to learn what not to do. And as Jesse Livermore said, as soon as you learn what not to do, you learn what to do, and then you become able to make money. So you first have to lose, and that's what the $1,000 account is. So maybe you lose $300 or $400 and you finally decide, okay, I get it how deadly it is to make the mistakes. My rules show me how not to make the mistakes. I'm not following the rules. Great. As soon as you understand that, follow the rules. That's the plan. And that's what the Fast Track program teaches you to do. So that when you go from a $1,000 account to the $10,000 account and you make 20% against that, you make $2,000 a year. That $2,000 a year, that might pay your electric bill. It might be you're trying to get through college. That might help you get through college. You're in retirement. You've got an $1,800 a month average Social Security check, and that's crazy because I think the median is going to be probably down around $1,300. Where I live, in this little New England town, the Lakes region, New Hampshire, you couldn't even rent an apartment for $1,300, I don't think, a 1-bedroom. So regardless of that, the average Social Security, the median Social Security check is probably $1,300 a month. If you could add another $200 onto that, which is 20% on that $10,000, right? You make another $200 a month. That's life-changing money. That's life-changing. I want to help you do that. But you can't jump from the 20% to breaking 3 boards. You break pencils first. That's the 20%. Look, if you can't make 40%, 40 to 60% on your money, you're not successful at trading currencies. Then you can go to these doubling things, and you could go to higher leverage and all that other stuff. But you have to learn how to drive the car first before you jump into a Lamborghini, or before you decide I'm gonna go into go into race car land, right? You just have to be reasonable about what your expectation is. You're not going to beat the Forex market. That's not going to happen, right? But you can still make a lot of money. How much money would you like to make? If the answer was, I want to replace my job income so that I can work on my hours and not on the boss's hours, then send me an email and let's have a conversation about how I can help you make that happen. Or, and it's not a sales process, it's understanding what I do. And then you can say, I think I got that. I'm going to try that on my own. Good. I have no problem with that. Or you're trading and you're not having the success that you feel you should have. And by talking to me, I'm willing to say, oh, this is your problem. Why don't you try to do this? And you go, I hadn't thought of that. Well, I'll try that. Thanks. You go off and do that. That's fine. It's just me. I can't teach 100 people a month. It's not an online program. You get a workbook. It's over 100 pages, probably 140 pages or so of sequential information, simple information. In fact, if you join the Fast Track program, you have to read that entire course manual the first week, and that doesn't even count towards your 6 weeks. That's your registration week. Here's the course. Boom, read it the first week. Then the second week, you got to read it again while you're starting to take action on the first parts of it. When you complete those first parts, then we have a video conference, or you come to my house or whatever, wherever you live. But we have a video conference and we talk about that. So I'm working with you personally. I don't have any employees, so you're not working with an employee. You're not working on an online course. You're not dealing in a Discord group. What are you going to do? You're going to join a Discord group of other people that don't know what they're doing? So you're going to argue among each other about what the best way is? Listen, Slick, that's not the way it happens when you go to college or even in high school. You go into the classroom and the teacher says, I'm going to teach you history. This is the way you're going to do it. There's no Discord group. This is the history. It's in the textbook, and I'm going to test you on that. Here's mathematics. I'm going to teach you this, how to solve a quadratic equation. There's no debate about it. This is how you do it. What are you going to do? Go in a Discord group, try to reinvent the wheel? I don't think so. So I teach. I've been teaching martial arts for over 50 years. I've taught people computer programming. I've taught people how to play backgammon. I know how to teach. And it isn't the way that the information is being presented on these videos by other people. So you won't know that. You won't understand it unless you at least send me an email, and we'll talk about it. And if you want to talk about taking the course and all that other stuff, we can talk about that too. But I'm not going to try to sell you it. I'm going to work individually with you and assure your success. Because if you're successful, then I'm successful. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day, and have a great trading day.